Hey, Nikki Sanders here with Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting. Welcome back to the More Than Social Work with Nikki Sanders YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me, and I'm excited to have you here. So please like, comment, share, check out all the other videos. But today we are doing part 2 of 3 things that social workers need to have in order to leave work at work. Now, let me start off by saying again, professional burnout is not a social work rite of passage, and we have the opportunity to social work differently, and that includes leaving work at work. So quick recap. Yesterday, I gave you 3 things that you needed to do. All start with a B. The first B is belief. The belief that you absolutely can leave work at work. You are not a hospital. You're not a 24/7 crisis line. You are not a robot. You get to leave work at work. That is the belief that you need to go into work with and keep with you always throughout your career. So 1 is belief. 2 is boundaries. Set up those boundaries. You have a work schedule for a reason. Set up those boundaries and adhere to them. So boundaries. The third B is backup. Someone who is going to help you process, also hold you accountable to leaving work at work, to rid yourself of any guilt or shame that you may feel from not taking work home. So we got that out of the way with the recap. Let's go to the next 3 things that you need in order to leave work at work. The first thing is knowledge and understanding of your responsibilities and your rights. Your responsibilities as an employee. What are you supposed to do? What did you sign up for? What are your work hours? How much are you supposed to give? What are the expectations? Know your job, know it well, so that you can trust that you are doing a great job. And then you get to leave work at work because you know that you have done your job and you have done your job well. So if you do your job to the best of your ability, knowing that you can't save everybody, it's a lot easier to leave work at work when you've done your job. The second part of that is your rights as an employee. What do you have to do legally? And what does your employer owe you legally? So you can be fired for leaving work at work if you're not on call, for leaving work at work if you don't have a certain number of hours, right? So, many of us have been, are not hourly employees. It just skipped me the word I was going to use, so don't even worry about it. Salaried. Many of us are salaried employees, and we've been told that means that you just have to stay until you get the job done. That's not actually completely true. And we need to know our rights and responsibilities as employers, employees, so that if your employer tries to punish you or fire you for leaving work at work and doing your job and doing it well, just not being available after work hours or not working on work after work hours, you know what your responsibilities are. So rights and responsibilities is number 1. Number 2 is set up a routine. And number 2 is going to go into number 3. Number 2 is a routine. So I talked about it a little in the first video that we need to have a routine of leaving work at work. And that can look like lots of different things. So yes, know what time you come in, take your lunch, take your break, take your paid time off, leave work at work. But what is your routine? Are you coming in getting work done? Are you coming in slacking? Are you coming in online shopping? What are you doing? So make sure you get your work done. So set up a work routine so you're productive, so you're effective, so you're efficient. That's part 1. Have the work routine so you get your job done in the time that is allotted. And if you can't get your job done in the time that's allotted, if you need more training, ask for it. If it's just too much work and there's work for more than one person, bring that up too. If you need a different kind of resource in order to get your job done and get your job done well, ask for that too, right? So set up the routine so that you can be successful at work. And then setting up that routine also looks like, what am I doing in order to ensure checks and balances, checking in. Are my reports done? Are my case records done? Have I made sure that I contacted all of the people that I need to contact? Make sure that your routine includes a checklist for the end of the day as well. So that means that before you leave, you've maybe checked your calendar, you've maybe checked your email, you've maybe checked your to-do list, you've maybe checked in with your supervisor or your coworkers, you may have checked in with your clients. Your routine is, at the end of the day, before I walk out of this place, or if you're working from home, before I shut down all this work stuff, let me have a routine of checking in to make sure I've checked all the boxes. I used to supervise an amazing young woman, and she would ask herself every day, what do I need to do today in order for today to feel successful? I'm giving that to you from her. We're going to borrow it. What do you need to do today to feel successful? So make that a part of your routine, is that check-in at the end of the day, that all the things that you needed to do for that day are done. It's much easier to leave work at work when you've checked all the boxes and you know that all the things that you needed to get done have actually been done. So, rights and responsibilities, routine, and include in your routine a release, leaving work at work. Again, maybe it's doing a calendar of all the things you have to do the next day. You can do that before you leave work. You can do that at night before you go to bed. I personally recommend you do it before you leave work. Your routine should include some kind of release. Work is over. Now I get to be me in my personal life because work is over. It can be music. It can be an affirmation. It can be turning your phone off or putting your phone away. It could be, if you're working from home, closing the door or covering the space, whatever it is that you need to do to actually release. Sometimes you need to talk to a friend about something completely different. Sometimes you actually need to do some journaling. I am a huge proponent of having a career journal. Sometimes you need to have that journal and write things out. Sometimes you need to go ahead and schedule that supervision so you can release whatever those things are that are happening for you in that moment. So your release needs to look like whatever it looks like for you. So I know that there are people who say, once I leave, I don't take any work calls. When I get home, I pause, I sit in the car, I make sure I release so that when I go home, I don't take that work and that energy home with me. And don't take the work home with you. That's an easier way to leave work at work, not taking work home with you, not checking your emails. But the release has to come from you. And I can't tell you exactly what to do. I can tell you the kind of things that I've done and that I've seen other successful social workers do. But you have to think about what that looks like and what that means for you. Like I said, it can be a song, it can be journaling, it can be planning the next day, it can be a calendar, it can be talking to whomever you need to talk to on the way home to signal that now I'm on a different time, or I'm in a different space, or in a different mode. It could look like playing a certain song before you go to work. It could look like, or go home. It could look like sitting in your car and meditating or praying or saying affirmations before you walk into your house. It could mean having a boundary or routine set up so that you only talk about 15 minutes of work before you shift into the rest of your evening, your life, your day. So whatever that looks like for you is what you need to do to release and leave work at work. So let's do a quick recheck again. Beliefs, boundaries, and backup. Rights and responsibilities, routine, and release. So all of those things are things that you need as a social worker in order to leave work at work. Now, of course, that's not everything. That's just from me. So if you have some other questions, you have some comments, you have some suggestions, things that work for you, I would love to hear it. So drop that in the comment. If you have other things that you would like me to create a video on, please share that as well. I would love to hear from you. But again, thanks for joining me here on More Than Social Work with Nikki Sanders. And I will see you back for the next video. And I am not a person who records and drives sitting in the passenger seat. See you later. Bye.